Hello, beautiful soul, and welcome to the Connecting Soul Beings podcast, offering you inspiration, tips, and learning about tuning into the language of your soul and gain a deep, intuitive understanding of your inner self, your guides, and the animals around you, so you are able to live from your heart with grace, love, and gratitude. We bring together spiritual leaders, energy healers, and awakened humans, so we're able to collaborate and help you feeling loved, joyful, and free by providing clear direction on how to connect soul to soul. Hi, Mariquita. Wonderful to have you.
Hi, Bianca. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. It's so exciting. I was so looking forward to having a chat to you today. It's just really amazing the work that you do and, what you've been focused on, especially in the last few weeks. You've been really active in the community and, showing yourself out there in the world, which is very honorable and courageous. So thank you for showing your light into the world at this lifetime.
Well, thank you. I love to be around heart-centered spirits. This is beautiful for me to connect with. Connections are everything. That's so important. Relationships and building just those love bridges from one person to the other. And then what takes off from that. It's exciting to see.
Yeah, exactly. And these connections that we feel, you hit the nail on the head there with heart-centered connections, right? Because that's what we're all about. And I think this day and age, it's so much more important for us to have that solid heart connection. And when you and I first met a few months ago, we instantly had that. It was like, whoa, we've met before, one of the lifetimes. But it's really important, I feel, especially in this day and age where there is so much going on for everyone. There are so many external things that are happening right now that it's really important for us to keep that heart focus and for us to really connect from that space. What does that mean to you at a deeper level, that heart-centered connection that you're talking about?
Well, I think it means really being in tune with my own heart, to listen to her, because she's always sending me messages and she's very, very wise. To sit in the quiet and honor her and to respect her and live in alignment with what she wants and not to just ignore what she's saying. Because if there's someone walking in the room, my heart's going to tell me if this is a person I want to be with or not, because she's going to put that energy out. So always paying attention and not being around people that my heart is saying, no, this isn't a person that's good for you, honoring that and really being thankful for her wisdom and connecting with the ones that she wants me to connect with and connecting with a beautiful animal world that's full of wisdom. My heart is overjoyed being around animals and, my whole body is resonating with love. And so that's what it means to me, getting in tune with this beautiful gift that I have laying right here.
Beautiful. I can feel it. I can really feel that. That's wonderful. In particular, also the connection with the animals that we have. That's just amazing to feel that. And I love that you're talking about thanking her for the wisdom that she brings. That resonates really well. Yeah, that's amazing. Because we don't often do that, do we? We're not often, thanking ourselves and being grateful for ourselves and what we've experienced and, what we can do for ourselves too.
Right. You're right. It's beautiful when we can get up and thank our eyes and, thank our heart, thank our lungs for breathing, and say, thank you. You're not even having, I'm not even having to ask you to breathe for me. That's how much you love me. My heart is beating for me. That's how much she loves me, that she's going every second beating. That's pure love. And so it's almost impossible to be sad when we focus on that. And then this glorious body that we have and this beautiful connections and that our hearts sync when we're singing and when we're laughing, the heartbeats sync. I think that is so beautiful, how connected we are with each other.
Wow, that's amazing. I haven't even thought about, looking at it from that point of view, to really thank, every bit within our body. We thank our body overall, but not necessarily the individual pieces that are actually just doing that without fail, really. So yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, that is really divine love, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. Because it's such a wonderful engine, you know, such a wonderful, how do you call that? You know, the body that we have, it's such a wonderful suit that we put on for every lifetime. And to actually be grateful for that is huge. Very, yeah. What a great way to start this off.
Oh, I'm excited. I knew this was going to be a great conversation.
Yeah, that's really fantastic. So I'm not quite sure how many people are actually, you know, who are listening and watching are aware of the important work that you do in this world. I would love for you to explain what it is that you do and a little bit more about your story, like what makes you tick, how did you get into it? It's probably a lot of questions into one, but yeah, I would love for you to share that.
All right. Well, I'm a vegan empowerment expert, and I was a vegetarian since 95 and went vegan. I don't know the exact dates, went back to vegetarian, and then I've been a vegan probably 8 or 9 years and stayed with it. I really love the earth. I'm just love animals. I'm very passionate about helping Mother Nature the best I can, and really living my life from a place of power and peace. Because so many years I used to struggle. I used to struggle hating myself because I was in relationship after relationship after relationship and begging guys to love me and just pretending to be someone I wasn't and not living in alignment with my heart. You know, my heart knew that it wasn't right and I was sacrificing her every day. So finally I just said, I can't do it anymore. I've got to live a better way. I've got to live a different way. So I really started looking at soul-centered books. I used to watch Oprah Soul Sunday and listen to all the great wisdom from Eckhart Tolle, Rob Bell, Joel Osteen saved my life. I was walking by the TV when I was feeling like the most discouraged. And I heard somebody say, you are a child of God and this is your day. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Don't you know I'm a big loser? And so it was amazing. This guy who had such, you know, such charisma and that really pulled me in, hearing that someone cared. And that was one of the, just that switch. It said, that's just got to stop, you know. So that was a true blessing. And so I wanted to find out how I could better other people, help other people. I had been in working with kids and adults with residential treatment center and mentoring my whole life. And so I looked into coaching, and that's when I became so excited about being a coach. So I did feminine empowerment coaching, relationship coaching, and then I saw that there were so many vegans struggling in sadness and anger and depression, desperation, trying to change, forcing change, and just going home at night and isolating because they were feeling like they didn't make a difference and that they just weren't doing any good. And I couldn't stand to see these beautiful people who care so much about the planet and others to be living in that state of sadness and anger and overwhelm. So that's when I said, I've got to do something. So that's when I said, I'm going to switch to vegan empowerment to help them create from a place of peacefulness and power, realizing that we're here to plant seeds, letting go of agendas, stepping away from the ego. But instead of the ego-centered conversations, having heart-centered conversations, we're really relating to the person and listening and seeing how we can make a connection instead of pushing and forcing things down people's throats, which is, and to me, that's not what veganism is at all. Veganism is about peacefulness and love and kindness to all. Kindness to everyone, not just vegans. So I'm here to really spread that message and help people get out of that trapped place that they're in. I have these one-on-one coaching programs, 3 months to get them out of that. And it's just so, it gives me so much joy and hope to see someone go through that transformation and be there with them to support them. We're a team working together for Mother Earth.
Yeah, beautiful. Wow, thank you for sharing. That's so powerful.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I can feel your passion coming through in the work as well, and that's just, yeah, amazing. A few things that I've sort of picked up on as you were speaking. You mentioned the word power a few times, and living from your power and being peaceful and powerful. What does that mean? Like, what do we need to understand when you use the word power? Because for some people that may have a bit of a negative connotation, perhaps, as I need to be powerful, and that could be overbearing or overwhelming in a certain sense. How do you relate to that?
Well, for me, power is when I'm living in alignment with my soul and my heart's desires. It means that I can step into confidence. I don't have to worry about someone's reaction or their response. I'm doing what I'm doing, and if they agree, that's fine. If they don't agree, it's not going to affect how I feel about myself. And that's true power, the way I see it. When I'm not affected, I'm living in alignment with all my dreams and all my passions, right? And I can go home and sleep every night, even though they don't like me or they don't agree with me. I've done what I needed to do, and I'm respecting myself. That's power.
Beautiful. Love that. Yeah, that's amazing, because that from that place, you're living in your power, and you come from that powerful self that really honors and values who she is. That's and when I work with my clients as well, that is almost exactly what we work on to begin with, because having that understanding that we can truly live from that place, and it's almost like unapologetically towards others. This is me, and this is who I am, and that's my powerful self. And that becomes then a real beautiful place to live from. And when we do that more, we actually show other people that you can have a much better experience living from that place, because you're really honoring yourself, and not just the human self, your ego, but you're also honoring your soul self, that being that we are, that sentient being that we are. And from that place, I believe, is the place that we want to live from, because that's where we can really tap into our passions and our purpose. Right. And once we do that, that becomes the power that will drive us to really have this human experience right now. And the way I receive what you were just saying, that really puts us in a place of that unconditional love, that true heartfelt living that we're going to be doing. And I'm saying going to be doing because a lot of people are still learning this concept, right? So it hasn't happened for a lot of people yet. And for me personally, I don't know about yourself, but for me personally, I'm still learning that. And it's an ongoing learning, because once we understand what it feels like to be aligned with our soul self, to have that, I can barely explain what that feels like, to be truly, I'm getting the chills all over, to be truly aligned, right? However, sometimes we are out of that alignment too, because we still have all this life to live as well. And that's so much at a human level that sometimes we are pulled out of alignment without us realizing. But it becomes easier when we understand the power that we have to bring ourselves back into the alignment. And sometimes we are reminded how to do that again. Sometimes we have different resources within us to be able to remember, oh, right, that's how we do it. That's how it felt. I want to get back to that space, right? But then it becomes easier and easier. It's really an interesting concept, because sometimes people feel, or they say to me, oh, but you've got it all together. You are so connected. You can do this all the time. Yeah, of course I can. But I still have a human within me as well that sometimes is on the other side of the coin going, this is not working, pulling me out again. And then, but learning to find that within yourself to be able to pull you back into that alignment. And sometimes it takes a couple of days or maybe even weeks. And sometimes it's within 5 minutes. It sort of depends on how far out of alignment we become. But to be able to go back to that powerful place is so important for us to do.
Yeah, and that's resilience, right?
Yes.
Getting back and knowing that life, I mean, knowing that we're going to fall down and that we might get out of alignment, and saying and being prepared for that, right? I mean, I know it's coming, that I'm not always going to be on track, but I'm going to turn, right? I'm not going to plow through the stop signs. And that's when we get even more out of alignment. We're plowing through stop signs. But instead turning and going with the flow, which is very beautiful. So yeah, everything you're saying, and your heart, again, your body's going to tell you, you're going to know if you're like, oh my gosh, your body's saying you're out of alignment.
Yes, such a beautiful compass to have. Our body, we underestimate what our body does, you know, and to be able to listen to that, to really tune into what our body's actually doing, to understand, you know, what the messages are, and then follow that through. Yeah,
and knowing that, you know, that every day is a lesson. Every moment of the day is a lesson. And if we fall down, that's great. And laugh and go. Be gentle with yourself. That's the key, gentleness, because we're perfectly imperfect and we're just beautiful as we are right now. And we don't have to prove anything else. We deserve love and to embrace ourselves in this imperfectly perfect body.
Yes, exactly. Oh, love it. So beautiful. Now, one of the other things that you've mentioned earlier on was stepping away from your ego. Can you explain a little bit more about that?
Well, I feel like in the vegan sense, there's a lot of, it's me against them, the vegan against the non-vegan. And that's the ego wanting, I've got to prove my point. I've got to win, you know, it's battle. And when we let it be about love, and I'm here to help you, to offer insight. I invite you to listen if you'd like, or invite you to learn more. That's heart-centered. That's not coming from a place of you must listen. That's coming from a place of gratitude and love and compassion towards this other person that we don't know what they've had in their life go on. Someone was telling me today about a little boy that was forced to kill his pet on the farm, right? And that was traumatic for him, right? So if we just go at him talking about, well, vegan, you know, he couldn't take it. My friend was trying to talk to him about that, but he had this trauma. So we don't know what's happened in other people's lives. So be gentle and just invite, you know, and even simply say, I'm plant-based. And would you like to know more? And if not, then respectfulness for myself and for the other person will allow them to, okay, you don't have to know more. And I don't even know what the point of this conversation was, but, you know, I love being respectful towards other people in all categories. That's the key to good communication, listening and allowing people to be who they are, not forcing, because we just don't know their past and what trauma might have occurred in their lives. So it's beautiful just to allow them to be who they are and flow in that feminine energy of allowing and discovering curiosity about how, you know, who is this person and what can I learn from them, instead of how can I shove my beliefs onto them, right? Yeah. That's about the ego. That's what we were talking about, the ego, but allowing the gracefulness of a conversation that is heart-centered and let it bloom into whatever it is going to bloom into. And then you're going to influence them and they're going to influence you and see what changes in your lives.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's also a big part of being vegan, in my view, is that compassion for all beings, regardless what journey they're on, regardless what stage they're in their life. It doesn't matter. It's all about having that respect for them and who they are and where they're going, what they believe even, and allow them to have those beliefs and their values. And yes, it would be fantastic if every single person around the world is vegan. However, for every single person, that is very different. Plus, every single body works differently as well. So it may not be suitable for every single person on earth. However, having that compassion and having that respect and that understanding that everybody, is their own individual, they have their own journey, they have their own values, that is key to us being able to get, the messages across as well, but allowing them to just be. And everybody,
Right.
when they're ready, they may come on board as well.
Yeah, that's the best gift you can give someone.
Yes.
Is allowing them to be who they are. No agenda.
Absolutely. Yeah. And for the ego, it's actually teaching, because you talked about, the feminine side of us and allowing that flow to come through. It's actually teaching our ego, our human self, to come on board with that compassion as well. And it's not necessarily around, I'm just going to leave her to the sideline. No, we still need her to come with us, right? So the more heart-centered we become, the more in tune we are with ourselves, then our ego is also going to see that and learn from that and go, oh, so it can be different and still be okay. Right.
Yes.
So, and that's probably a huge learning too. Every single day.
Right, we got plenty of lessons, so nobody has to worry about running out of lessons.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's so amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. No, it's like waking up and wondering, I wonder what lessons I'm going to learn today.
Yes, that's right. And the curiosity piece, I feel, is quite important for us in life. What are your thoughts on that?
Definitely get up and we see that this day is an exploration. I'm an explorer going out to see what is going to bloom in this day from my heart-centered place, coming from a place of expression of love and kindness. Today I'm excited about it. That's really a wonderful place to be in, because that's very freeing and it's not forcing, and you don't have to go home and be upset because you're just discovering and exploring without any agendas.
Exactly. Yeah. And I love it too, because you mentioned, having that connection with the animals and us loving the animals so much. And as you know, I work with animals quite regularly. It's also observing what they do, because curiosity is almost like second nature for animals, because they always, wander around and they explore and they're curious about things. And they literally, if I see my dog Raphael on our walks, he literally stops, smells things, and you can see his little brain sort of going, what am I smelling? What is this about? And then he walks away. Sometimes he goes back to that place again. So having that curiosity, it's like, wow, they're teaching us so much, because often we forget to be curious, because through that curiosity, we can grow so much.
Yes, you're right. The curiosity, it's just a beautiful door for, my gosh, we don't know what. And what you're saying about the pets is so right on, because my little dog, my other little dog who was 18 passed away in February, and I just adopted Louie. So Louie and I went to the labyrinth at our church. And Mick, my Chihuahua that passed, he would go sit in the sun. And when we would be walking the labyrinth and playing the flute with the labyrinth ministry, Mick would be howling and singing, and they thought that was so beautiful. So we went over there yesterday, and Louis was looking around and he was seeing things that we couldn't see. So I thought that was so beautiful, because that labyrinth is such a holy place, and that I felt like there were so many divine souls there, and that Louis was recognizing them. And he was just so curious about all these beautiful spirits that were around. And me and my friend kept looking. We were like, well, we don't see them, but we know you do, Louis. That divine connection that pets have that we don't always have.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, they do. They see so much more than often we can tune into. It's just amazing to watch that process. Yeah. And I'm sure Mick is also around with Louis to just share the little bits and pieces that he may need to know, being with you. And it's so wonderful that you've already got Louis in your life right now. He's so
Yeah.
cute.
He's such a good boy. Yeah. And that I've already had 2 visitations. Well, from Mick, one personally, and then my friend had a visitation from Mick also. I mean, that's such a blessing. Yeah, she was at her house and she felt like she heard someone come in, she thought, and she sat up in bed and she looked around and then she said she saw Mick. And in both visitations, she said he was very happy and playing. So I love that he was very happy and playing and joyful. And she said she looked right in his eyes and there was that moment of deep connection. And she knew it was Mick. He had on this little jacket, like I'd always have a jacket on him. And so that is such, I mean, the soul lives forever. It's just so beautiful. And this beautiful, we're energy, you know, we're in this amazing field of energy and we are energy. So it's so comforting to know that Mick is here and that he has kind of been teaching Louie what to do, and Louie is so well behaved. And I give Mick the credit, and our beautiful animals are always teaching. Mick's still teaching from a different place now.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they are, absolutely. And you're so right, you know, the soul lives on and we have that soul connection, right? Whether we are in a physical form or whether we are still in the spiritual form. And even after we reincarnate, we still have a soul connection because we can be at different places at the same time in that sense as well. So having them still come and check in on us or teaching others, you know, that are still around us, it's just so amazing. Because I know one of my dogs, Rosie in particular, she connects with Raphael as well. So he can actually learn from her. And it's really wonderful to see that happening and to understand it. And sometimes I'm very blessed to actually see her come into the living room and, you know, be in the sun in a favorite spot where she used to be and just sort of pop her head around and come in. And it's so wonderful to know that because it gives a level of comfort as well. But at the same time, I know she's got a lot of other work to do out there.
Beautiful. I love that. You know, it is tremendous comfort. And it's, I mean, we're never alone. That's the thing. We're never alone. And the trees are here with us. You know, the sun loves us. The moon and the stars, they all love us. And to tune into that love, it's amazing.
Yeah, definitely. So one of the things that I've, and I think we spoke about this before, in particular when we first met, animal ministry leader. I'm so fascinated by that. At that time, I'd never heard of it before. And because we're talking about the animals now, and I know you've got such an affection for the animal kingdom, how does that tie in? Because you're mostly focused on, you know, the coaching and working with people to really step into their whole being from that powerful, curious place. How does the animal ministry sort of fit into that? And what is that all about?
Well, I'm the leader of the animal ministry at my church. I go to a Unitarian church that is very welcoming to all. And I was so happy to find out they had an animal ministry. So I signed up and said, I'll volunteer for it. I got a call and I just turned into a member. I was welcomed as a member of the church that week before. And I got a call and I thought, this is it. You know, I'm going to start volunteering for them. And then I was asked to be the leader of it. And I was like, oh my gosh, the universe has heard my prayers. I mean, I couldn't have asked for anything more. And so to be united with people that love their pets, and we get together and we have a little service. We're having Georgia Spot Society coming in with their rescue dogs. They're going to talk about spay and neuter. This is happening in the next one. We're having a beautiful musician with a sound journey who's going to do healing. He's also going to play the guitar for us. And every time we have a memorial for pets, and so healing for our community to be able to go up and light a candle and tell about the pets that have passed and it meant so much to them. And so I really love that I'm being able to bring education into this group of people. And online, I have a little group also to educate about all animals, not just the cats and the dogs, but every animal. I also volunteer at Chattahoochee Nature Center. And I've finished my snake training. So I want to educate about snakes and about every animal is so important to this world. So that's really what I'm doing in the animal ministry, bringing in all animals so that community isn't just thinking about cats and dogs, but pigs and snakes and opossums and raccoons and hawks and alligators, all of them, because they are all beautiful living beings. And so when I'm doing my coaching, I like to start out my meditations with connecting with all the living beings in the earth, knowing that they're standing here with us for our greatness, knowing that they're sending love to our hearts and feeling that beautiful energy. So I think it's so important to connect to everything, you know, the sun, the moon, the planets, all of it being here with us on our journey, and they're standing with us in power. I mean, that's a wonderful way to start off. I mean, I feel the energy right now, you know, I mean, knowing the sun's living for me, breathing, and how much she loves me again. Yes. So I get very excited about it.
Absolutely. Why wouldn't we? I mean, goodness me, we live in such a beautiful world, you know, and such a beautiful planet. It's just amazing. And, you know, to honor that, you know, and to walk through nature and actually just honor every living creature and plant and tree. Yeah, that's amazing. As the sun is really shining here today. So
yes, I know. Yeah. Go out and recognize that and hug a tree, right?
Exactly.
Live it up, because I mean, that grounding energy that the trees are giving us, and they're really, I mean, they're helping us to breathe and taking care of our air for us. And the trees, lots of times I'll drive home and I'll see the trees and I'll see them, they're moving in the wind, and I wave to them. I say, I see you waving at me, right? That connectedness with nature. I mean, it's that high from nature. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that high from nature. I love that. So what's one golden nugget that you can share with the audience that you would love for them to take away today?
I think to really start off the day with a mantra saying, I choose to live this day in a heartfelt space, allowing the discovery of life, and greeting people as they are and loving them as they are, and coming back home and rejoicing with my discoveries on this blessed day.
Wow, that's beautiful.
So starting off the day with a mantra like that, and then coming home and ending it like that and giving thanks, you know, what were the blessings of the day? And really focusing on that will shift your life, you know, because then you're going to be looking out for it, all the discoveries all day long, and maybe have a little notebook and writing them down every day. So giving thanks, there's no better way to live, you know, other than living in gratitude. Gratitude is the way to live, and it's out there. Just go outside and see the trees and the sun, and boom, there's the welcoming party right there.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, beautiful. That's amazing. And we have that choice, right?
Right.
We definitely have that choice. Yeah. That's beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now, just to close off today, I usually ask a question around soul connection. What does that mean to you, and what impact does that have on your life?
Well, again, it's connecting with my soul, so that if I'm better connected with my soul in every way possible, honoring her and living from that place of heart-centeredness. Soul connection is to connect with all the living beings in the best manner that I can, the most respectful, the most loving manner, because that's what it to me means. Soul connection with everyone, not judging, having compassion for them, and seeing what develops again. What will be developed from the listeners that are listening? What are they going to take away from this? What's going to bloom, right? I mean, we don't have to be talking directly, but we can be listening and have that soul connection. Yes. So, and feeling that energy of the other persons that are out there, sending that love out with your heart.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, I'm sending so much love to you, Mariquita. It's just been such an honor to speak with you today. And thank you again for sharing your light in the world and being such an amazingly beautiful soul. Thank you so much.
this has been a tremendous honor for me. And I'm so glad that we connected. And I'm like, how did we even connect? And I think, well, thank you, universe. What a blessing this has been.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for listening to yet another inspiring episode of Connecting Soul Beings podcast. I love receiving your comments, stories, and feedback, as they are truly inspiring. So please take some time to comment on this episode below. If you love the show, you can help us by sharing and liking it via your favorite podcast platform and our website. And if you feel that we can work together in helping you to connect to your inner self and the animals, then hop on over to biancadereus.com or find me on LinkedIn, Facebook and Instagram under Bianca de Reus. Thank you again so much. Say hi to your pet from me and stay connected with love and grace.